The tale of the Watchers is an ancient enigma steeped in power and profound betrayal. These celestial entities, whose story is chronicled within the venerable Book of Enoch, were dispatched to Earth with a sacred mandate to shepherd humanity. Yet instead of guidance, they ushered in a pivotal downfall, imparting forbidden wisdom that irrevocably altered the course of history, sowing seeds of both progress and devastating chaos. But why does their narrative remain shrouded in such secrecy? Join us as we journey into the heart of the Watchers' secrets, exploring their audacious rebellion, their illicit actions, and the profound echoes that may still reverberate through our world today. So who truly were these mysterious Watchers? Within the pages of the Book of Enoch, an ancient Jewish manuscript dating to approximately 300 BC, the Watchers are portrayed not as ordinary angelic beings, but as a distinct echelon of the divine host. They were handpicked by the Almighty for a singular monumental undertaking to observe nascent humanity in its infancy. Their charge was both weighty and delicate: to simply watch, to discreetly guide, and to safeguard the nascent human race as it embarked upon its fragile, uncertain path into existence. In that primal epoch, humanity was raw and untamed, barely tapping into its latent potential. Life, though simple, was fraught with unpredictability, a tapestry woven with threads of both stark beauty and relentless struggle. Early communities were just beginning to coalesce, yet the very essence of survival often felt like a constant skirmish against the formidable forces of nature. In his boundless discernment, the divine creator deemed it fitting to entrust the Watchers with this hallowed mission, not to interfere directly, but to subtly steer humanity, ensuring its growth remained aligned with divine tenets. These Watchers were indeed extraordinary beings. Angels endowed with immense sagacity and formidable power, chosen specifically for their unwavering discipline and devotion. They were conceived as vigilant guardians, forming an ethereal barrier between the sacred and the terrestrial realms. From their exalted vantage points in the heavens, they bore witness to humanity's triumphs and tribulations, its enduring spirit and inherent vulnerability. Though imperfect humanity possessed an undeniable spark, an untamed, unpredictable potential that captivated even the celestial observers. But what transpires when those entrusted with overseeing creation begin to question their very purpose? What if their growing fascination transforms into an unspeakable transgression? This is the point where the narrative of the Watchers takes a breathtaking turn, a pivot that would forever reshape not only their destiny, but the very trajectory of mankind. The Watchers did not merely observe, they intervened. And their audacious deeds sent tremors through the very fabric of creation itself. It began subtly, perhaps, with mere curiosity and almost academic admiration. Yet this admiration swiftly metamorphosed into something far more perilous. The compelling beauty of human existence, the intricate tapestry of mortal emotions, and indeed the irresistible allure of human women, proved to be an insurmountable temptation for some among them. One angel, Semyaza, found himself utterly enthralled. He perceived in humanity an unparalleled wonder, something wild, yet brimming with untold promise. He was acutely aware of the perils, knowing full well that direct communion with mortals was strictly forbidden. Still, his burgeoning desires could not be stifled. Thus he conceived a treacherous design. If he were to transgress, he would not endure the consequences in solitude. Semyaza rallied his brethren, compelling them to swear a solemn oath of defiance. 200 angels solemnly pledged to abandon their heavenly stations, descending to earth to satiate their newfound longings, heedless of the ultimate cost. And in that moment, everything changed. This marked the genesis of a cataclysmic event, one whose repercussions would resonate throughout the corridors of time. for the story of the Watchers is far from concluded. Their actions constituted not merely a betrayal, but potentially the very catalyst for an entirely new epoch in the chronicles of humanity. The Watchers did not descend to the terrestrial realm without their own formidable endowments. They carried with them potent, transformative knowledge propelling human civilization forward in ways previously unimaginable. Yet as the annals of history repeatedly confirm, knowledge is a perilous double-edged sword. While the wisdom bestowed by the Watchers laid the groundwork for complex societies, it simultaneously unleashed an unprecedented tide of chaos. Among the 200 Watchers, the name Azazel resonates with particular infamy. He was the one who introduced humanity to the intricate art of metallurgy, instructing them in the forging of implements of war from iron and bronze. This was fundamentally a lesson in dominance. With the advent of weaponry, humans no longer needed to rely solely on brute physical might or overwhelming numbers. Power could now be wielded by those who commanded the tools of combat. Battles grew exponentially bloodier, and conflicts escalated dramatically as tribes vied for territory, vital resources, and vengeful retribution. Weapons brought a brutal new form of power, and that power in turn inexorably bred violence. But Azazel's corrupting influence did not cease there. He also unveiled the secrets of personal adornment. Jewelry, cosmetics, and various symbols of beauty became widely adopted. What might appear innocuous in our contemporary age was in ancient times a profound and unsettling revelation. These gifts cultivated vanity and inflamed desires, fueling cycles of envy, seductive manipulation, and deceit. The Watchers had, through Azazel, initiated humanity into a realm where mere appearance could become an instrument of destruction, as lethal as any forged blade. While Azazel shaped the physical implements of the world, another Watcher, Kokabel, directed humanity's gaze towards the vast celestial expanse. He imparted the principles of astrology, the study of the stars, and the intricate mechanics of heavenly movements. For early humans, this knowledge was nothing short of revolutionary. The heavens, once an unfathomable void, now revealed themselves as a cosmic chart, a guide that could foretell seasons, aid in navigation, and even hint at future occurrences. Yet with this profound knowledge arrived another insidious temptation, the overwhelming desire to control destiny itself. Armaros, in turn, taught the dark arts of enchantments and curses, initiating humanity into the realm of sorcery. These teachings unlocked pathways to manipulating both the natural world and the will of other individuals. Magic, once confined to the shadows of the unknown, swiftly transformed into a potent instrument, wielded by those who sought ultimate power. Initially, these divine gifts seemed like unmitigated blessings. Agriculture thrived, societies evolved into more organized structures, and humanity began to assert unprecedented dominion over its environment. The Watchers' knowledge undeniably laid the bedrock for early civilizations. But this accelerated progress came at an exorbitant price. Weapons ignited widespread war. Vanity became a driving force for corruption. And magic and astrology, once conduits of wonder, devolved into potent sources of fear and oppressive manipulation. The Book of Enoch vividly recounts that the most catastrophic repercussion of the Watchers' rebellion was the emergence of the Nephilim. These monstrous hybrid beings, the progeny of illicit unions between angels and humans, were giants in every conceivable sense. Their immense physical stature was matched only by their insatiable appetites, for sustenance, for dominance, and for wanton destruction. The sacred text describes how the Nephilim voraciously consumed the earth's precious resources, transforming fertile landscapes into barren desolation. Their very presence shattered the delicate balance of nature, leaving a trail of devastation in their wake. Yet it was not merely the Nephilim's overwhelming physical might that terrorized humanity. It was their profound moral depravity. The Nephilim were said to have inherited the darkest inclinations of both their angelic and human progenitors: unbridled arrogance, rapacious greed, and an insatiable lust for control. They were absolute tyrants, and their horrific reign of terror pushed humanity to the precipice of annihilation. As humanity descended further into utter chaos, the heavens could no longer maintain their solemn silence. The Watchers' rebellion had not only defiled the earth, but had audaciously defied the very divine order of creation. Their ill-gotten gifts had unleashed the scourges of warfare, avarice, and widespread destruction. Their monstrous progeny, the Nephilim, laid waste to the world's resources and propagated unbridled violence across the land. The earth itself groaned beneath the crushing weight of their sins, and the judgment of the divine was now an inescapable inevitability. The Book of Enoch reveals that the Almighty, witnessing the utter desolation wrought by the Watchers and their offspring, convened his mightiest archangels to intervene. Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, and Uriel were entrusted with the solemn duty of restoring equilibrium. Their mission was unequivocally clear: to mete out punishment to the rebellious Watchers, to purify the defiled earth, and to ensure that such an abominable rebellion would never again desecrate creation. The first to face divine retribution was Azazel. As the principal architect of humanity's corruption, the one who divulged the secrets of warfare, vanity, and forbidden knowledge, his punishment was executed with swift and devastating severity. Azazel was bound hand and foot and cast into a dark, craggy chasm deep beneath the earth's surface. The archangels then sealed his eternal prison, covering him with jagged stones, where he would remain perpetually blinded by darkness until the day of final judgment, when he would confront his ultimate terrifying fate. Semyaza, the instigator and leader of the Watchers' rebellion, was deemed no less culpable. Though he had not disseminated as much explicit knowledge as Azazel, he had masterminded the entire insurrection, leading his brethren into profound sin. Semyaza, along with the other Watchers, was hurled into the abyss, bound in unbreakable chains beneath towering mountains. Their anguished cries of despair echoed mournfully through the earth as they awaited their predestined divine reckoning. However, the punishment of the Watchers did not signify the completion of the divine cleansing. The Nephilim, those abhorrent hybrids born of forbidden unions, represented an even more immediate and egregious threat. Their very existence was an intolerable affront to the sacred natural order. Too immensely powerful and numerous to be vanquished by mortal hands, they were ultimately swept away in the cataclysmic Great Flood. This epoch-ending event, recounted not only in the Book of Enoch, but echoed in countless ancient cultures across the globe, served as a profound reset, a divine act of ablution to expunge the sins of the Watchers and their monstrous creations. The deluge signaled the end of an era. The earth was purified, yet the indelible scars of the Watchers' rebellion persisted. Their pervasive influence lingered in the remnants of the knowledge they had shared, in the crumbling ruins of the civilizations they had corrupted, and in the enduring myths and legends that would be meticulously passed down through uncounted generations. But what became of the Watchers themselves, the Book of Enoch states that they were incarcerated deep within the earth, condemned to an eternity of torment and impenetrable darkness. These angelic entities, once revered as divine custodians, were now consigned to endless suffering, and yet their story does not end there. Some ancient traditions suggest that the Watchers' imprisonment was not intended to be perpetual. The Book of Enoch tantalizingly hints at a final judgment, a prophesied time when the Watchers would be summoned forth from their subterranean prison to face God's ultimate decree. Their ultimate fate, much like their entire narrative, remains an enduring mystery. Were they truly vanquished, or does their insidious influence continue to subtly ripple through the very fabric of time? The fall of the Watchers serves as a potent cautionary tale, illuminating the inherent dangers of defying divine law and the dire consequences of wielding immense knowledge without commensurate wisdom. Yet it also provokes profound questions about humanity itself. If the Watchers faced such severe retribution for their rebellion, what then does that imply about the very knowledge they bequeathed to mankind? Even more chilling is the possibility that the Watchers' story may not be a closed chapter. In certain interpretations, their imprisonment beneath the earth is viewed not as a definitive defeat, but merely a temporary pause. Could they one day return, and if they were to reappear, what would they discover? A humanity that has finally ascended to its true potential, or one that has tragically repeated the very mistakes they initiated so long ago. Beyond Semyaza, Azazel, Kokabel, and Armoros, there were other guardians of the heavens whose stories have largely receded into obscurity. Yet concealed within the annals of ancient texts and the echoes of oral traditions, faint whispers endure of these lesser-known Watchers whose impact was no less profound. Among them, Penemu was venerated as a profound keeper of secrets, a being of immense intellect and insatiable curiosity. Unlike Azazel, who introduced tangible instruments of war, Penemu's singular gift was far more subtle yet utterly transformative, the very art of writing. Before Penemu's descent, humanity relied solely on ephemeral oral traditions to transmit its accumulated knowledge. Stories were fragile, easily distorted, and often irrevocably lost with the passing of generations. But Penemu unveiled the written word, an unparalleled instrument capable of preserving ideas indefinitely. With this revolutionary gift came the profound power of collective memory, the scaffolding of culture, and the very foundation of recorded history. Humanity began to inscribe its achievements, meticulously map its territories, and codify its laws. Yet, as with every endowment from the Watchers, Penemu's knowledge possessed a darker, more insidious facet. Writing tragically also facilitated deception. Lies could be meticulously etched into stone, intricate conspiracies could be plotted in ink, and insidious propaganda could be widely disseminated across burgeoning tribes. Truth, once mutable only by the fallibility of memory, now became a commodity that could be deliberately manipulated by those who mastered the pen. Some legends suggest that Penemu eventually lamented his own gift, watching in despair as humanity twisted his creation for selfish and nefarious ends. From the shadows, he is said to have whispered warnings, but they remained tragically unheeded. When the archangels descended to mete out divine judgment, Penemu's unique punishment was to wander the void, his voice silenced forever. A bitter and poignant irony for the original scribe of humanity, Sariel, whose sacred name translates as "command of God," served as a celestial guide, tasked with revealing to humanity the profound secrets of the cosmos. In an era predating telescopes and navigational compasses, he unveiled the majestic movements of the stars, the precise cycles of the moon, and the rhythmic cadence of celestial time. Sariel's profound teachings enabled nascent civilizations to navigate treacherous oceans, to plant their vital crops in perfect synchronicity with the changing seasons, and to gaze skyward with a newfound sense of purpose and boundless wonder. Yet as humanity's comprehension of the heavens expanded, so too did its inherent arrogance. The stars, once revered as sublime symbols of divine mystery, were progressively transformed into instruments of control. Kings meticulously consulted astrologers to prognosticate wars. Priests cunningly manipulated lunar and solar eclipses to consolidate their temporal power. The intricate cosmic balance that Sariel had sought to impart was tragically corrupted by humanity's insatiable thirst for dominion. His teachings, once intended to illuminate the divine order, were instead tragically employed to forge chains of fate. Sariel's ultimate fate remains equally shrouded in mystery. Some traditions assert that he was cast into the abyss alongside Semyaza and Azazel, forever bound in chains beneath the earth. Others whisper that he still roams the boundless skies, a restless, mournful spirit, forever grieving for the very stars he once hoped would illuminate humanity's path to enlightenment. Tamiel, or the perfection of God, was designated as the guardian of the deep. His divine domain encompassed all waters, the vast oceans, the flowing rivers, and the unseen abyssal depths of the earth. Tamiel instructed humanity in the profound mysteries of water, demonstrating how to harness its life-giving power for both survival and burgeoning prosperity. From sophisticated irrigation techniques to the construction of humanity's very first rudimentary boats, his gifts transformed fledgling societies into thriving, interconnected communities. Yet Tamiel's lessons transcended mere practicality. He spoke of the sacred, purifying essence of water and how it could cleanse the soul and forge an unbreakable bond between humanity and the divine. But tragically, in humanity's hands, even this sacred gift was defiled. Rituals originally intended for purification devolved into tools of coercion and manipulation. Rivers were deliberately poisoned in acts of war, and the vast seas, once revered as sacred, came to be viewed merely as realms to be conquered. Tamiel's betrayal of his heavenly mission was subtle, his descent a gradual erosion of his divine resolve. His deep fascination with humanity's ingenuity blinded him to their burgeoning greed. When the monstrous Nephilim emerged, relentlessly consuming the earth's vital resources, Tamiel bore witness to the devastating destruction unleashed by his own teachings. His punishment is said to be singularly unique, perpetually bound beneath the very ocean he once cherished. Tamiel is condemned to eternally hear the ceaseless cries of the waters he so profoundly betrayed. Perhaps the most enigmatic of the forgotten watchers is Gadriel, whose story survives only in fragmented whispers. Unlike his brethren, Gadriel's particular gift to humanity was not one of creation, but rather one of profound destruction. He is frequently blamed for introducing humanity to the very concept of organized warfare, teaching them cunning strategies of battle and the intricate art of crafting formidable fortifications. Yet his corrosive influence delved far deeper. Gadriel's name is also inextricably linked to the primal act of temptation itself. Some ancient accounts suggest that it was he who whispered to Eve in the idyllic Garden of Eden, planting the insidious seed of defiance that would echo catastrophically through all of recorded history. Whether this narrative is to be understood literally or metaphorically, it powerfully underscores his role as a master manipulator and a pivotal figure who dangerously blurred the sacred lines between divine will and autonomous human choice. Gadriel's fall was swift and exceptionally severe. Unlike Azazel, whose rebellion was audacious and direct, Gadriel's corrupting influence was insidious, spreading like an invisible contagion through the very hearts of men. For this insidious betrayal, he was cast into utter and eternal darkness, his very name deliberately erased from the sacred records of the righteous. Yet chilling echoes of his dark teachings persist in every conflict, every act of betrayal, and every defiant transgression witnessed throughout human history. The fall of the Watchers was intended to obliterate their influence from the face of the earth. But if history imparts any wisdom, it is that narratives of such monumental scope do not simply vanish. Though the Watchers may be bound beneath the earth, their profound legacy reverberates across countless cultures, ancient myths, and even modern interpretations concerning humanity's deepest origins and its enigmatic past. Consider the Nephilim, for instance. the towering giants born from the forbidden unions between the Watchers and human women. As per the Book of Enoch, these beings possessed immense stature and insatiable appetites, wreaking widespread havoc upon the world. But did they truly disappear completely after the Great Flood? Remarkably, tales of colossal giants permeate cultures across the entire globe, strikingly echoing the Nephilim's description. The Greek Titans, immense beings of formidable power, dared to defy the Olympian gods and met tragic ends. The Norse Jotun, fierce and colossal entities, frequently clashed with the divine Aesir. Even Native American legends recount the existence of giants who once roamed the earth, their immense strength said to have shaped the very landscape. Are these merely fanciful myths, or do they represent fragmented, lingering memories of the Nephilim's terrifying reign? The astonishing parallels observed across disparate cultures are undeniably striking. Despite being separated by vast geographical distances and immense spans of time, countless civilizations narrate the existence of powerful, larger-than-life beings who brought forth both awe-inspiring wonders and widespread destruction. Such consistent similarities are far too profound to be dismissed as mere coincidence. They compellingly suggest a shared, ancient collective memory that transcends specific cultural boundaries, hinting at a universal experience or understanding of these colossal figures. These legends continue to resonate powerfully, fueling the compelling notion that the Watchers and their illicit offspring left an indelible, transformative mark on human history and its mythology. Then, there is the profound knowledge the Watchers imparted. Their forbidden teachings might very well hold the elusive key to comprehending the enduring mysteries of ancient colossal structures, such as the Great Pyramids of Giza, the colossal ruins at Baalbek, or the enigmatic Göbekli Tepe. These architectural marvels strikingly defy the engineering capabilities typically ascribed to the civilizations of their respective eras, posing questions that even modern engineers and archaeologists continue to grapple with. Take the Great Pyramids of Giza, for example. Each massive limestone block weighs several tons, with some estimates suggesting the heaviest blocks exceed an astonishing 70 tons. These gargantuan stones were not only transported over significant distances, but also positioned with extraordinary, almost unimaginable precision, aligning the pyramids perfectly with cardinal points and even specific celestial events like the solstices. How could such unparalleled precision and scale possibly be achieved without the benefit of advanced tools or sophisticated machinery? Similarly, the ruins of Baalbek in Lebanon, home to the magnificent Temple of Jupiter, feature megalithic stones known famously as the Stone of the Pregnant Woman. These individual blocks weigh over 1,000 tons each, yet they were somehow quarried, transported, and positioned with uncanny accuracy. Even contemporary cranes would struggle immensely to lift such immense weights, let alone maneuver them into position with the seamless precision achieved by ancient builders. Göbekli Tepe, widely considered the world's most ancient temple, further compounds this profound mystery. Dating back more than 11 millennia, it showcases intricately carved stone pillars, some weighing up to 20 tons, arranged in complex circular patterns. Its construction remarkably predates the very advent of agriculture, leaving historians utterly perplexed as to how a supposedly hunter-gatherer society could have organized and executed such an extraordinarily advanced and monumental project. These monumental feats seem almost impossible to achieve, given the limited knowledge and technology conventionally attributed to the periods in which they were constructed. This stark discrepancy has led some to compellingly speculate that early civilizations may have been secretly guided by the Watchers who shared forbidden knowledge that empowered humanity to achieve feats far beyond its inherent natural capabilities. Astrology also bears the unmistakable fingerprints of the Watchers. Kokabel's profound teachings about the celestial bodies appear to have left an indelible imprint on human culture across the globe. Ancient peoples constructed awe-inspiring monuments like Stonehenge and the Nabta Playa stone circle, meticulously aligning them with precise celestial phenomena. Cultures such as the Mayans and Babylonians developed intricate calendars and sophisticated astrological systems with an astounding degree of accuracy that continues to astonish even contemporary scholars. While modern science largely attributes these remarkable achievements to human observation and ingenious innovation, the persistent echoes of the Watcher's forbidden teachings leave some unconvinced instead, believing that such advancements are far too precise and widespread to be mere coincidence. But the Watcher's pervasive influence does not merely end in the ancient world. In modern times, their narrative has become intricately entwined with theories concerning extraterrestrial life. Proponents of the ancient astronaut hypothesis argue compellingly that the Watchers were not merely spiritual entities, but rather highly advanced beings from another world, technologically superior entities mistakenly perceived as divine messengers by early human societies. What if their divine knowledge was simply highly advanced technology profoundly misunderstood by a nascent humanity? Consider, for example, the Nazca lines in Peru, monumental geoglyphs meticulously etched into the desert floor spanning hundreds of feet and depicting animals, plants, and intricate geometric shapes. The most perplexing aspect is that these designs are fully discernible only from an aerial perspective, raising the critical question of how ancient peoples utterly devoid of access to flight or aerial viewpoints could have created them with such astonishing accuracy. Some researchers propose that the lines served as ceremonial pathways or sophisticated celestial calendars, while others speculate they were landing strips or intricate signals intended for beings from above. Could these enigmatic formations represent enduring evidence of communication or collaboration between early humans and the Watchers, or perhaps a lingering relic of their profound influence, an enduring testament to knowledge far beyond the grasp of ordinary humans? Even the very concept of the Watchers resonates uncannily with modern scientific thought. Theories such as the simulation hypothesis suggest that our entire reality might be overseen by advanced intelligence-driven beings, entities eerily reminiscent of the Watchers described in ancient texts. If such a hypothesis holds true, then perhaps we are indeed still being observed, possibly by these silent overseers who linger in the shadows, patiently awaiting the opportune moment to intervene once more. And perhaps the Book of Enoch itself corroborates this eerie possibility. It hints that the Watchers' rebellion and their subsequent punishment may not represent a definitive closed chapter. Their imprisonment deep beneath the earth aligns intriguingly with various hollow earth theories, which postulate the existence of vast, uncharted regions beneath the planet's surface. Legends of hidden subterranean realms like Agartha or Shambhala, purportedly inhabited by advanced and mysterious beings, bear intriguing parallels to the ancient story of the Watchers. As previously noted, some interpretations suggest the Watchers were confined beneath the earth as divine punishment for their transgression, and these ancient narratives of subterranean civilizations may very well preserve echoes of that profound belief. Moreover, Agartha and Shambhala are frequently depicted as clandestine realms of immense wisdom and highly advanced knowledge, strikingly similar to the forbidden teachings the Watchers so illicitly shared with humanity. Finally, there is the provocative concept that their teachings were somehow encoded into the very fabric of human DNA, a form of latent genetic memory awaiting activation. This intriguing theory suggests that the accelerated technological and societal advancements of the past few centuries, from the dramatic shifts of the Industrial Revolution to the audacious ventures of space exploration, could potentially be evidence of this ancient programming finally coming to fruition. The story of the Watchers transcends the realm of mere ancient myth. Whether one subscribes to the literal existence of these angelic entities or not, their profound narrative stands as a stark and timeless reminder of the inherent perils that accompany unbridled knowledge. So what are your thoughts? Do they serve as a grave warning against repeating ancient mistakes? Or are they perhaps stirring once more from their long slumber? Share your insights below. And remember to like, subscribe, and activate the notification bell for more intriguing mysteries just like this one. Keep your minds open, and until we meet again,